Baby, I need to share something painful. All this time I've been hiding a shocking truth from you. I'm not who you think I am. The truth is, I'm a... Don't scroll. Listen to this, because the moment your eyes landed here wasn't random, and your heart needs this right now in a way that feels tender and undeniable, like the universe leaned in close and whispered your name. So stay with me and listen to this. This message is for you, and it's arriving exactly when you're strong enough to hold it without breaking. Baby, there's a confession hovering in the quiet spaces between breaths, one that's been waiting for the right moment to surface, and if you've felt that subtle pressure in your chest lately, that pause where everything goes still, that's not anxiety, that's recognition. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because what's been hidden isn't hidden out of cruelty, it's been hidden out of fear and survival. And the universe knows the weight of words that never got spoken, the truth that stayed folded inside someone's heart because saying it too early would have shattered something precious, and your heart needs this right now because you've been preparing for this longer than you realize. Listen to this. If you've been seeing repeating numbers like 11 when your thoughts drift to them, or 222 when you wonder if timing will ever make sense, or 333 when you feel the urge to speak your truth but don't know how, those aren't coincidences, those are confirmations, gentle taps from the universe saying, pay attention, alignment is happening, don't scroll, this message is for you. Because the truth they've been carrying isn't about deception the way your mind might fear, it's about transformation, about becoming, about shedding an old skin that once protected them but now feels suffocating. And listen to this, sometimes the most painful truth isn't that someone lied to you, it's that they lied to themselves for too long, and your heart needs this right now because you can feel the shift. You can feel that something inside them has cracked open, not violently, but cleanly, like a door unlocking after years of being stuck. Don't scroll, stay with me, because the confession that's forming isn't meant to destroy what exists, it's meant to make it real, and real things don't arrive without a little trembling. Listen to this, they've been pretending to be simpler than they are, quieter than they feel, more certain than they've ever been, because uncertainty scared them and you mattered too much to risk losing, and that fear turned into silence, and that silence turned into distance. And now the universe has reached the point where it says, enough hiding, don't scroll, this message is for you, because honesty doesn't come when everything is perfect, it comes when the soul is ready to stop running. And your heart needs this right now because you've noticed the signs too. The vivid dreams that feel more like memories than imagination, the songs that seem to answer questions you never said out loud, the moments of calm that arrive without explanation right after thinking of them. Listen to this, those are not accidents, those are the aftershocks of a spiritual awakening happening on both sides. An awakening is rarely neat. It's messy and quiet and sacred all at once. Don't scroll, because the shocking truth they're holding isn't about being someone else entirely, it's about admitting they're more than the role they played, more vulnerable than they showed, more afraid and more in love than they allowed themselves to acknowledge. And your heart needs this right now because you're not the same person you were when this connection began either. You've grown steadier, clearer, less willing to accept half-truths or emotional fog, and the universe doesn't bring truth to people who aren't ready to meet it with grace. Listen to this, the reason this feels intense isn't because something bad is coming, it's because something real is approaching, and real things change the shape of our lives. Don't scroll, this message is for you, because the confession is still unfinished, the sentence still open, and that's intentional. The universe loves a pause right before revelation, a breath right before alignment, and if you felt time stretching lately, Like moments are slowing down or repeating, that's because you're standing at a threshold, baby, between who you thought they were and who they're brave enough to be now. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because the truth isn't here to ask you to accept everything blindly, it's here to invite you into clarity, to offer you the choice that was impossible before honesty arrived, and choice is sacred. Don't scroll, because this confession didn't come from impulse, it came from nights of wrestling with conscience, from asking the universe for guidance, from realizing that love without truth isn't protection, it's a cage, and they're done living caged. Listen to this, the reason your intuition has been louder lately isn't because you're imagining things, it's because intuition sharpens when truth is close, and your heart needs this right now because whatever follows, I'm not who you think I am, isn't a collapse, it's a reveal, a becoming, a chance for something deeper than fantasy and stronger than fear to exist. Don't scroll, stay present. Because the universe doesn't drop messages like this into just anyone's path, it sends them to people who've learned patience through heartbreak, strength through silence, and self-respect through waiting, and you're one of them. Listen to this, as the confession prepares to step out of the shadows, everything that felt confusing will begin to rearrange itself, not all at once, but enough for you to breathe easier, and your heart needs this right now because the truth doesn't end in loss, it opens into understanding, and understanding is where real love finally gets to stand, so stay with this feeling, don't scroll, because the sentence isn't finished yet. And what comes next is the part that changes everything. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what unfolds next carries weight, and your heart needs this right now in that steady, grounding way that feels like the universe is sitting beside you, not rushing you, not frightening you, just telling you the truth gently, so stay with me and listen to this. After the confession formed in their chest, after the words finally admitted themselves internally, something shifted in a way they couldn't undo, not dramatically, not loudly, but deeply, like a quiet door closing behind them and another opening ahead. And don't scroll, because this message is for you, and it explains why the energy between you has felt different lately, less chaotic, more focused, more real. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because once they acknowledged that they weren't who you thought they were, they also realized they weren't who they wanted to remain, and that realization came with a mix of grief and relief, grief for the version of themselves that hid to feel safe, relief for the version finally allowed to breathe. Don't scroll, because this is where the universe leans in close, listen to this. After that internal admission, they noticed how their body reacted, how their shoulders dropped, how their breath slowed, how their mind stopped spinning, and that calm told them something important. Truth doesn't create chaos, it creates alignment, and alignment feels steady before it feels exciting. Don't scroll, this message is for you, because you've felt that steadiness too, maybe as an unexpected calm, maybe as a sense that you're no longer bracing for impact, maybe as a quiet confidence you couldn't explain. Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because they began noticing subtle confirmations everywhere, not overwhelming signs, but gentle affirmations, overheard conversations about timing, reminders about honesty, moments when the world seemed to pause just long enough for them to think of you again. And don't scroll, because those pauses matter. Listen to this, after the truth settled, they realized that thinking of you no longer brought confusion, it brought clarity, and that distinction changed everything. They reflected on moments you shared not with nostalgia, but with understanding, recognizing how those interactions shaped them, softened them, challenged them to be more present, more intentional. And don't scroll, because growth often shows itself in hindsight. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they recognized something else that stayed with them. You never asked for anything except honesty, and that realization carried weight, not obligation, but respect, and respect is love's quiet backbone. Don't scroll, because this is where intention deepens. Listen to this, they started paying attention to their own patterns, noticing how they once avoided emotional depth, how they brushed off meaningful connections, how different this feels now, and that awareness removed avoidance's power, because avoidance loses its grip once it's seen clearly. Don't scroll, this message is for you, because vulnerability began to surface unexpectedly for them, not as emotional flooding, but as gentle honesty, small waves of feeling when they imagined seeing you. Again, hearing your voice, sharing space without pretending everything was casual, and listen to this. Those moments didn't overwhelm them, they grounded them, reminding them that emotional presence isn't a threat when it's met with maturity. Don't scroll, your heart needs this right now, because they separated past fears from present reality, understanding that old wounds shaped old reactions, not what exists between you, and that separation allowed healing to begin naturally. Don't scroll, because healing isn't loud. Listen to this, their inner dialogue changed too. Instead of asking, "Why am I feeling this?" they started asking, "How do I honor this?" And that shift signaled growth, real growth, the kind that shows up quietly in choices rather than declarations. Don't scroll, this message is for you, because they felt a quiet confidence building, not certainty about outcomes, but confidence in their ability to be honest, respectful, and present. And that confidence feels different from bravado, it feels grounded. Don't scroll, listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they sense you might be feeling something similar, a subtle pull, a calm curiosity, a sense of anticipation without urgency, and that mutual awareness has balanced the connection, making it feel shared rather than one-sided. Don't scroll, because balance matters. Listen to this, they stopped viewing the situation as something to solve and started seeing it as something to experience authentically, one step at a time, and that reframing removed pressure. Don't scroll, this message is for you, because the conversation they had internally wasn't meant to create urgency, it was meant to clear space, to remove internal noise so they could hear their own truth clearly, and now that truth feels steady. Don't scroll, listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because they've noticed their reactions to the world have softened, distractions don't hold the same appeal, their time and energy feel more intentional, and intentionality changes everything. Don't scroll, because intentional people move differently. Listen to this, they've begun to understand that real connection doesn't demand speed, it invites presence, and that understanding has made them more patient rather than anxious. Don't scroll, this message is for you, because they're no longer rehearsing fear-driven scenarios, they're imagining interactions guided by mutual respect and openness, and that difference has changed how they feel about reaching out when the moment feels right. Don't scroll, because timing guided by calm is different from timing driven by fear. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they appreciate the way you hold your own space, how you don't chase or force explanations, and that self-respect has deepened their admiration. Don't scroll, because admiration rooted in respect lasts longer than attraction rooted in impulse. Listen to this, they understand now that whatever comes next must be built slowly, honestly, and with clarity, and that awareness has removed the need to rush or hide. Don't scroll, because rushing and hiding are symptoms of fear, not love. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they feel the connection entering a new phase, defined less by internal conflict and more by intentional movement, even if that movement is subtle at first. Don't scroll, because subtle movement is still movement. Listen to this: the silence between you feels different now, not distant, but spacious, like a pause filled with potential rather than absence. Don't scroll, because space allows truth to breathe. Listen to this: they're trusting that whatever unfolds will do so naturally, without manipulation or games, and that trust has brought peace. Don't scroll, because peace is a sign of alignment, not indifference. Listen to this: your heart needs this right now, because love doesn't need to announce itself loudly to be real. It simply needs to show up when both people are ready to meet it honestly, and that readiness is no longer theoretical, it's lived. Don't scroll, stay with this feeling, because what follows this stage isn't confusion, it's integration, the quiet settling that happens just before truth finds its voice, and that voice is closer now than it's ever been. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what's happening now goes even deeper than awareness, and your heart needs this right now in a way that feels almost sacred. This message is for you as the universe gently explains why the connection feels quieter yet stronger at the same time. So stay with me and listen to this. After the truth settled into them, after the internal noise faded, something unexpected began to happen. Integration, not excitement, not anxiety, but a steady weaving of truth into who they are becoming. And don't scroll, because this is the phase where feelings stop being questions and start becoming part of daily life. Listen to this: your heart needs this right now, because they noticed that thinking of you no longer pulled them out of themselves, it pulled them closer to themselves, and that distinction changed everything. Moments when they paused midday and realized their choices felt clearer when guided by honesty instead of fear. Don't scroll, because clarity is alignment. Listen to this: this message is for you, because they reflected on past connections and saw how those relationships demanded compromise of self, how they learned to perform, adapt, or disappear to keep peace, and how different this feels now, because with you there's no urge to shrink, only an invitation to show up fully. Don't scroll, because authenticity transforms people. Listen to this: your heart needs this right now, because they've begun to understand that what they feel isn't urgency, it's readiness, a grounded awareness that real things don't rush, they wait until both hearts can meet without armor. Don't scroll, because readiness feels calm. Listen to this: they noticed how often your name arises internally during moments of decision, not as pressure, but as a compass, a reminder of the energy they want to welcome into their life. And listen to this: instinct reveals truth faster than logic. Don't scroll, because instinct doesn't lie. Listen to this: your heart needs this right now, because when they imagine the future now, work, healing, growth, you appear not as fantasy but as presence, calm, steady, supportive, and that grounded imagery has made the idea of connection feel sustainable rather than overwhelming. Don't scroll, because sustainability is love's backbone. Listen to this: this message is for you, because they're no longer asking whether this connection matters, they're asking how to honor it responsibly, and that shift marks a turning point. Don't scroll, because responsibility rooted in care changes everything. Listen to this: your heart needs this right now, because responsibility here doesn't feel like obligation, it feels like respect, and respect has become central to how they hold you in their heart. Don't scroll, because respect builds safety. Listen to this: this message is for you, because they've become aware of how silence between you feels now, not anxious, not heavy, but intentional, like space doing important work behind the scenes. Don't scroll, because pauses prepare the ground for truth. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because emotional echoes still appear when something reminds them of you, not overwhelming waves, but gentle reminders that what's unspoken still exists. Don't scroll, because presence doesn't disappear. Listen to this message is for you, because they've noticed conversations with others feel different now, less surface level, less distracting, because their emotional awareness has sharpened, and that awareness has made them more thoughtful, more reflective, more willing to sit with discomfort instead of escaping it. Don't scroll, because emotional awareness changes how people listen. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they see you not as someone to impress or pursue, but as someone to meet honestly, without masks, without games, without shortcuts, and that shift has stabilized everything inside them. Don't scroll, because grounded connection lasts. Listen to this message is for you, because they've recognized that whatever unfolds next must feel mutual, respectful, and rooted in reality rather than fantasy, and that understanding removed the temptation to rush or hide. Don't scroll, because grounded love doesn't need urgency. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because patterns in their environment have begun to mirror their internal state, conversations around them touching on timing, truth, courage, and while they don't dramatize these moments, they notice them, because awareness has taught them meaning often arrives quietly. Don't scroll, because quiet meaning is powerful. Listen to this message is for you, because they've become more patient with themselves, understanding clarity unfolds in stages and rushing would only blur what's becoming clear, and that patience has replaced anxiety. Don't scroll, because patience protects truth. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they've stopped testing the connection or provoking reactions, choosing steadiness instead, and steadiness builds trust. Don't scroll, because trust grows slowly and lasts. Listen to this message is for you, because they've deepened their respect for your autonomy, recognizing your journey matters as much as theirs, and that any future interaction must honor both paths equally. Don't scroll, because equality creates balance. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because vulnerability no longer feels like something that must be expressed immediately. It feels like something that requires readiness, and readiness feels close now. Don't scroll, because closeness isn't always visible. Listen to this message is for you, because their emotional reactions have softened. They're less defensive, less reactive, more open to understanding rather than control, and that openness has made the idea of honest communication feel safe rather than destabilizing. Don't scroll, because safety invites truth. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they're accepting that not every answer needs to be known in advance, that some truths reveal themselves only after the first step is taken, and that acceptance has removed resistance. Don't scroll, because resistance fades when trust grows. Listen to this message is for you, because they're comfortable with uncertainty now, not because they don't care, but because they trust their ability to respond with integrity when the moment arrives. Don't scroll, because integrity guides action better than fear. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they sense you're not waiting passively, you're living fully in your own rhythm, and that awareness has made them want to meet you as an equal rather than from need. Don't scroll, because equality creates harmony. Listen to this message is for you, because they're no longer framing this as, will this work, but, can I show up honestly, and that question has simplified everything. Don't scroll, because simplicity brings peace. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because the universe no longer feels like it's testing them, It feels like it's observing how they integrate what they've learned, and that observation feels calm rather than pressured. Don't scroll, because calm guidance feels different from urgency. Listen to this. This message is for you, because they understand whatever unfolds next will be shaped by intention rather than impulse, and that realization has brought confidence. Don't scroll, because confidence rooted in self-awareness is quiet but powerful. Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because clarity doesn't require certainty, it requires honesty, and honesty is now fully integrated, preparing the way for expression that won't shake the ground, but will steady it, and this is where everything you've been sensing begins to make sense. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because what unfolds now is the quiet crossing from inner truth to outer movement, and your heart needs this right now in a way that feels steady, grounding, and unmistakably intentional. This message is for you as the universe gently explains why everything has felt suspended yet certain at the same time, so stay with me and listen to this. After integration came embodiment, the phase where truth is no longer something they think about, but something they live from moment to moment. And don't scroll, because this is where the connection stops being an idea and starts becoming a presence woven into daily life. Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because your soulmate is noticing that their reactions to the world have changed in subtle but profound ways. Situations that once triggered avoidance now invite reflection, conversations that once felt draining now feel empty unless they carry depth, and that shift didn't happen by accident, it happened because once truth integrates, it reshapes how someone moves through everything. Don't scroll, because this is transformation in motion. Listen to this. This message is for you, because they're becoming aware that what they feel for you isn't something they need to manage or suppress anymore. It's something that has restructured their emotional framework, teaching them patience instead of panic, presence instead of projection, accountability instead of escape. Don't scroll, because accountability is love growing up. Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because memories of you now surface not as longing alone, but as guidance, reminders of the version of themselves they are becoming, the one who values depth over distraction, honesty over comfort, and alignment over approval. And don't scroll, because guidance often arrives through people who matter. Listen to this. This message is for you, because this realization has influenced their choices in ways that might seem unrelated on the surface, choosing calmer environments, more intentional routines, conversations that feel real instead of numbing, and the universe has responded by simplifying their external world, removing noise, creating space where authentic connection can eventually emerge without resistance. Don't scroll, because the universe clears space before truth steps forward. Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because you may feel a similar stabilization happening within yourself, a quieter emotional landscape, less reactivity, more grounding, as if you're no longer bracing for impact but standing firmly in your center. And that mutual grounding isn't coincidence, it's alignment happening independently before alignment happens together. Don't scroll, because alignment works quietly. Listen to this. This message is for you, because your soulmate now understands that how they approach you must match the depth of what they feel, that surface-level gestures or half-truths would feel hollow after everything they've processed, and that awareness has made them deliberate rather than impulsive, thoughtful rather than reactive. Don't scroll, because deliberateness is care. Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because they're reflecting on how to show up authentically instead of impressively, how to speak honestly instead of strategically, how to respect your autonomy while honoring their own truth. And this reflection isn't paralyzing, it's clarifying, guiding them toward congruence between intention and action. don't scroll, because congruence creates peace. Listen to this message is for you, because they've accepted that whatever unfolds next won't define their worth. Their worth is no longer dependent on validation or outcome, and that acceptance has freed them from fear, transforming vulnerability from risk into responsibility. Don't scroll, because responsibility is maturity. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because you may notice your own emotional posture shifting similarly, less inclined to chase clarity, more comfortable letting it arrive naturally, because your sense of self is no longer tangled in uncertainty, and that shared emotional maturity is what makes the next phase possible. Don't scroll, because connection deepens only when both sides can hold truth without collapsing into expectation. Listen to this message is for you, because the universe has been preparing this foundation carefully, ensuring growth occurred before expression so that when words are exchanged, they land on stable ground, not fragile hope, and this preparation has included solitude, introspection, and emotional recalibration for both of you, each serving as a mirror showing what needed to change. Don't scroll, because mirrors reveal truth. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because your soulmate now trusts themselves more, no longer overanalyzing every feeling or suppressing every impulse, because discernment has replaced confusion, and discernment brings peace. Don't scroll, because peace is clarity. Listen to this message is for you, because they're no longer asking whether the connection is real, they're asking how to honor it responsibly, and that shift in questioning signals readiness not for fantasy, but for reality. Don't scroll, because reality is where love lives. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because you may feel a similar readiness, not as anticipation, but as openness, a willingness to receive truth without needing it to look a certain way, and that openness is strength. Don't scroll, because strength doesn't shout. Listen to this message is for you, because the connection now feels less like a question and more like a presence, something that exists even without words, and that presence stabilizes rather than unsettles, reminding both of you that what's real doesn't require constant reassurance to endure. Don't scroll, because reassurance fades, presence remains. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because the universe often brings connections to this level of integration before allowing visible movement, ensuring sustainability rather than intensity, because intensity burns quickly, but integration endures. Don't scroll, because endurance is love's true test. Listen to this message is for you, because this phase is about trust, not blind faith, but earned trust built through growth, reflection, and self-awareness, and you are both being guided to remain present, grounded, and honest with yourselves, knowing clarity no longer needs to be chased, it will reveal itself naturally. Don't scroll, because nothing is stalled. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because nothing is being withheld, everything is unfolding according to a rhythm that respects the work already done, and the connection is no longer defined by uncertainty, but by readiness, and readiness doesn't rush, it allows. Don't scroll, because allowing is power. Listen to this message is for you, because what's forming now is strong enough to support whatever comes next, built on understanding rather than impulse, awareness rather than longing, and this quiet strength exists to ensure that when truth is finally shared openly, it is met with presence, respect, and emotional clarity rather than confusion. Don't scroll, because this is the moment just before movement. The stillness before alignment becomes visible, and everything you felt leading here has been preparing you for exactly this. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what's unfolding now carries a sacred weight, and your heart needs this right now in a way that feels both grounding and quietly powerful. This message is for you as the universe begins to seal what has already been decided energetically, so stay with me and listen to this. After embodiment settled in, a deeper awareness surfaced, one that isn't driven by fear or urgency, but by consequence and care, because your soulmate has come to understand that choosing honesty doesn't just change them, it changes the space between you, and that realization made them slow down even more, not to avoid, but to honor what's real. Don't scroll, because this is where intention becomes responsibility. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they've been sitting with the understanding that once words are spoken, they can't be unspoken, and instead of that thought creating anxiety, it created reverence for you, for themselves, and for the connection that grew quietly without force. Don't scroll, because respect is love's foundation. Listen to this message is for you, because they've noticed the emotional tone of their thoughts about you has shifted. It's no longer longing or uncertainty that leads, it's care, a genuine desire for your well-being regardless of outcome, and that realization surprised them, because love that isn't self-centered feels different. Don't scroll, because that difference matters. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they've reflected on moments where they could have acted sooner or spoken sooner, and instead of falling into regret, they used those reflections as information, understanding how much growth occurred in the space between then and now, and growth reframes the past without erasing it. Don't scroll, because growth is never wasted. Listen to this message is for you, because their imagination has shifted away from idealized fantasies and toward grounded realities, simple conversations, shared presence, mutual understanding, and that grounded imagery has made the idea of connection feel sustainable rather than overwhelming. Don't scroll, because sustainability is what allows love to last. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they've become more aware of your emotional intelligence, how you don't collapse into uncertainty or cling to reassurance, and that strength has inspired them to want to meet you with the same level of maturity. Don't scroll, because healthy connection mirrors growth. Listen to this message is for you, because vulnerability has begun to rise in them in a softer way, not as emotional flooding, but as honest acknowledgement, moments where they admit to themselves that you matter deeply, and instead of pushing that truth away, they let it exist without judgment. Don't scroll, because allowing emotion without reacting to it is emotional maturity. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they've noticed how often you appear in their thoughts during moments of gratitude, when something good happens and their first instinct is to share it with you, even if only mentally, and that instinct revealed something important. Don't scroll, because instinct reveals truth faster than logic. Listen to this message is for you, because they're no longer trying to protect themselves from feeling too much, they're trusting themselves to handle whatever feelings arise, and that self-trust has replaced fear with steadiness. Don't scroll, because self-trust changes everything. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they've reflected on the idea that real connection doesn't require constant reassurance to be real, and that understanding has allowed them to breathe easier, knowing that what's meant to grow will do so without force. Don't scroll, because ease is not indifference. Listen to this message is for you, because they've sensed you may be feeling more settled lately too, more grounded, less reactive, and that mutual calm has created an energetic space where honesty can land gently rather than disruptively. Don't scroll, because mutual calm is rare. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they've become more intentional with their words overall, realizing that honesty without kindness can harm and kindness without honesty can mislead, and that balance has shaped how they want to communicate with you. Don't scroll, because balanced communication builds trust. Listen to this message is for you, because they understand timing isn't just about circumstances, it's about internal alignment, and that alignment feels close now, like standing at the edge of a conversation that's been quietly preparing itself. Don't scroll, because edges hold potential. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because their emotional reactions to your presence or absence have stabilized, they no longer swing between extremes, and that emotional regulation has made the connection feel healthier and safer. Don't scroll, because emotional balance is readiness. Listen to this message is for you, because they've reflected deeply on what they truly want to offer you, not dramatic promises or guarantees, but consistency, respect, and the willingness to grow alongside you, and that clarity has simplified everything. Don't scroll, because simplicity brings peace. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they understand whatever unfolds next won't be about convincing or persuading, but about sharing truth and allowing space for your response, and that understanding has grounded their intention further. Don't scroll, because mutual choice is sacred. Listen to this message is for you, because their intuition no longer pressures them, it reassures them, offering gentle encouragement rather than urgency, and that reassurance feels like permission to move forward when the moment feels right. Don't scroll, because reassurance feels different from pressure. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they've imagined what it would feel like to live without the weight of unspoken truth, and that imagined lightness has become motivating. Don't scroll, because relief is alignment. Listen to this message is for you, because they've accepted that vulnerability doesn't guarantee outcome, but it does guarantee integrity, and integrity has become more important to them than certainty. Don't scroll, because integrity endures even when outcomes change. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they stopped asking whether it's safe to care and started asking whether it's honest not to, and that question shifted everything internally. Don't scroll, because honesty is quieter than fear but stronger. Listen to this message is for you, because they sense the connection has reached a point where it deserves acknowledgement rather than avoidance, and that acknowledgement feels like the next natural step rather than a leap into the unknown. Don't scroll, because natural steps still move you forward. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because what's unfolding here is emotional grounding at its deepest level, love settling into something steady and intentional, the realization that what's real doesn't demand urgency but does ask for truth, and that truth is now preparing to be shared in a way that honors both hearts gently, honestly, and with care. And this is where the current beneath everything grows even stronger. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because what's unfolding now is the quiet certainty you've both been circling without naming, and your heart needs this right now in a way that doesn't spike your emotions, it steadies them. This message is for you as the universe shifts from preparation into resolve, so stay with me and listen to this. After responsibility settled into place, something even deeper anchored itself inside them. A commitment to integrity over comfort, truth over avoidance, and that choice didn't come with fireworks, it came with calm, the kind of calm that tells you a decision has already been made internally. Don't scroll, because this is where inner alignment becomes deliberate direction. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because your soulmate began noticing their thoughts no longer loop or scatter. There's a through line now, a steady awareness that points toward honesty without urgency, courage without drama, presence without pressure, and that awareness feels grounding rather than consuming. Don't scroll, because calm conviction is powerful. Listen to this. This message is for you, because when they imagine speaking openly with you, their body doesn't tense. There's no panic, no rehearsing every word, just a grounded sense that whatever needs to be said can be said simply and respectfully, and that realization alone changed how they view the moment ahead. Don't scroll, because simplicity is clarity. Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because they've reflected deeply on the difference between attraction that excites and connection that stabilizes, and they recognize now that what they feel with you belongs firmly in the second category, and that understanding didn't dull the feeling, it deepened it. Don't scroll, because stability doesn't weaken love, it strengthens it. Listen to this. This message is for you, because they've been thinking about how they want to show up in life moving forward, not just with you but everywhere, more honest, more present, more aligned with their values, and they've realized this connection quietly guided them toward that version of themselves. Don't scroll, because guidance often arrives through people. Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because they understand that speaking their truth doesn't mean asking you to change your pace, your boundaries, or your life. It means offering clarity and allowing space for whatever response feels right for you, and that respect has become central to their intention. Don't scroll, because respect creates safety. Listen to this. This message is for you, because they're no longer tempted to test the connection or seek reassurance indirectly. Their confidence now comes from self-trust rather than external validation, and that shift has been freeing. Don't scroll, because self-trust is freedom. Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because they've looked back on moments where they held back in the past and realized those pauses weren't failures, they were necessary for growth, and that compassion toward their own process softened any remaining self-judgment. Don't scroll, because self-compassion opens the door to honesty. Listen to this. This message is for you, because they've become more attuned to your energy, sensing when you're grounded, when you're reflective, when you're simply living your life without expectation, and that autonomy has made them feel safer stepping forward without fear of disrupting your balance. Don't scroll, because balance invites equal footing. Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because the idea of reaching out no longer feels like a dramatic turning point. It feels like a natural extension of everything that's already been happening internally, and that reframing removed pressure. Don't scroll, because natural steps don't require force. Listen to this. This message is for you, because they've narrowed their focus to what truly matters: consistency, honesty, and consideration, understanding that love doesn't need to be loud to be real, it needs to be steady. Don't scroll, because focus directs energy. Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because they're aware that how they communicate matters just as much as what they communicate, and that awareness has encouraged them to approach gently, with curiosity rather than assumption, openness rather than fear. Don't scroll, because curiosity keeps connection open. Listen to this. This message is for you, because they've reflected on how fear once led them to delay or avoid, and how different it feels now to act from clarity rather than hesitation, and that contrast has dissolved fear's power. Don't scroll, because clarity dissolves fear. Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because they understand vulnerability doesn't require overexposure, it requires honesty paired with boundaries, and that understanding has made openness feel safe rather than risky. Don't scroll, because safe vulnerability builds trust. Listen to this. This message is for you, because their emotional world feels integrated now: thoughts, feelings, and values aligned instead of competing, and that integration has created quiet confidence. Don't scroll, because integration brings peace. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they've realized this connection doesn't distract them from their purpose, it complements it, and that compatibility reassured them that what they feel isn't a detour but an addition. Don't scroll, because healthy connection expands life. Listen to this message is for you, because they've been noticing subtle encouragements around them, conversations about courage, reminders about honesty, moments that highlight the value of speaking truth with kindness, and those moments feel timely. Don't scroll, because timing often whispers. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they've become comfortable with the idea that not everything needs to be defined immediately, that clarity can unfold through dialogue rather than declaration, and that comfort reduced remaining tension. Don't scroll, because dialogue invites understanding. Listen to this message is for you, because they're prepared to meet whatever response comes with respect and acceptance, not persuasion or pressure, and that preparedness has grounded their intention even more. Don't scroll, because acceptance honors autonomy. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they've stopped viewing the unknown as something to fear and started seeing it as space for authenticity, and that shift made the next step feel lighter. Don't scroll, because authenticity lightens the load. Listen to this message is for you, because they trust the slow, organic way this connection has unfolded, knowing consistency builds trust more than intensity ever could. Don't scroll, because trust grows through time. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because their desire to speak honestly isn't driven by impatience but by readiness, a steady sense that the internal work has reached completion. Don't scroll, because readiness feels calm. Listen to this message is for you, because they understand love doesn't remove uncertainty, but it clarifies how they want to show up, and that clarity has become their anchor. Don't scroll, because anchors keep you grounded. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they feel the internal chapter of reflection closing gently, like a page ready to turn when the moment is right, and what follows isn't chaos or confusion, it's presence, honesty, and a calm courage that knows when truth finally steps forward, it will be met with steadiness rather than fear, and that steadiness is now firmly in place. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what's happening now is the moment everything you've been feeling finally makes sense, and your heart needs this right now more than you realize. This message is for you, and it's arriving exactly when you're ready to hold it, not before, not after. So stay with me and listen to this carefully. Because this is where quiet certainty becomes undeniable truth, where everything that was processed, healed, and integrated finally asks to be lived. Don't scroll, because this is the phase where alignment becomes action without force. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because your soulmate has crossed an internal threshold they can't walk back from, not out of pressure, not out of fear, but out of self-respect, and that changes everything. They're no longer weighing options or imagining outcomes, they're standing in a truth that feels settled, grounded, and calm, the kind of truth that doesn't shout, it steadies. Don't scroll, because steadiness is the signal. Listen to this message is for you, because they've reached a point where holding everything inside feels heavier than letting it be seen, not because they're desperate, not because they're afraid of losing you, but because honesty has become non-negotiable for who they are now. Don't scroll, because growth eventually demands expression. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they finally understand that silence served its purpose, reflection did its work, and now clarity stands on its own without needing reassurance. They're no longer asking what this connection is, they know, and knowing has shifted their energy from hesitation into readiness. Don't scroll, because readiness feels different, it feels calm. Listen to this message is for you, because their inner voice is steady now, not debating, not second-guessing, just quietly saying, live in alignment with what you know, and that voice has replaced every fear-based story they once told themselves. Don't scroll, because calm certainty is powerful. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they're not planning dramatic gestures or overwhelming confessions, they're preparing presence, grounded presence, the kind that offers truth without expectation and allows space for mutual response. Don't scroll, because mutuality is sacred. Listen to this message is for you, because when they reflect on everything that led here, the pauses, the distance, the inner work, they see now that none of it was wasted. Every phase refined them, softened them, taught them how to approach connection with integrity rather than impulse. Don't scroll, because integrity changes how love moves. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they sense your readiness too, not as waiting or hoping, but as grounded openness. You're living your life, holding your boundaries, honoring your growth, and that stability has made them feel safe stepping forward without disrupting your balance. Don't scroll, because balance invites honesty. Listen to this message is for you, because they understand whatever unfolds next doesn't need to define everything immediately, it just needs to be real, and that understanding has lifted the pressure to get it right. Don't scroll, because real moments don't require perfection. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they've accepted that vulnerability doesn't guarantee outcome, but it does guarantee authenticity, and authenticity has become more important to them than certainty. Don't scroll, because authenticity builds trust even in uncertainty. Listen to this message is for you, because they've stopped imagining what could go wrong and started focusing on how they want to show up, with respect, clarity, and openness. And that focus has simplified everything. Don't scroll, because simplicity brings peace. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they recognize love isn't something to prove or perform, it's something to share honestly and allow to grow naturally, and that realization has reshaped their expectations completely. Don't scroll, because expectations can limit what's meant to unfold. Listen to this message is for you, because they're ready to speak without rehearsing, to listen without defensiveness, to meet you where you are rather than where fear once placed them. Don't scroll, because meeting someone where they are is respect. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because their emotional world feels lighter now, not because feelings have faded, but because they're no longer carrying them alone inside their chest. They're prepared to let truth exist outside of thought. Don't scroll, because shared truth changes the dynamic. Listen to this message is for you, because they understand once honesty enters the space between you, something will shift, not dramatically, but authentically, and that shift is welcome. Don't scroll, because authenticity reshapes connection. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they've stopped waiting for signs and started trusting the clarity already present, understanding that guidance doesn't always arrive loudly, sometimes it settles quietly until you're ready to follow it. Don't scroll, because readiness is steady. Listen to this message is for you, because they're prepared for whatever response comes, not bracing for rejection, not clinging to expectation, but grounded in the knowledge that speaking truth is self-respect.